Welcome to Home Exit Signs 13 Modern Setup. So let's begin. Right here is a new exit sign I recently bought, and it is a Lithonia LQM from the 5th generation of Quantums. And I am very happy to own this sign. It is Lithonia's newest exit sign at the time of me making this video. It was released in the summer of 2025, like July 2025 is when they released it. And I'm not going to go too much in detail with it, but it looks very similar to the LQM from the 3rd generation of Quantums, with some slight differences. I do love these signs, and this is something that is actually a little different since the release, but when you get this exit sign brand new, you get this reminder here that says, switch position is critical to application. Be sure it is set appropriately. And basically, it's talking about the AC only and battery backup switch, just because this is, at the moment, the only exit sign on the market that has the option of making it AC only or battery backup. No other exit sign has this option as of right now. This one is color switchable, and I will put a green faceplate on to show the green lettering. And then this has simple self-diagnostics, and if I give it a test, it works. I don't like how they changed the snaps on it. That's a little annoying. However, in a second, I will show you the inside. Here's the inside of the LQM, and then this is the AC only toggle switch. So when I press the button, it still stays on when you press the button, which is very annoying. And at least they added this reminder, but they should turn this light off when you have this switch off, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Then you can switch it from red to green. If you listen closely, you can hear this high-pitched noise. Especially when I test it. I don't know if you heard it, but it is a little irritating. Another thing I don't like about these LQMs is that you need to scan a QR code and read an online manual, and that's bad if you're in a bad reception area. One thing interesting about these LQMs as well is if you have the battery plugged in and have it on battery operation, it'll just turn on. So that's one thing that this sign does. It's kind of like a Lithonia EXRG where they just turn on when you connect the battery. That's the case with this exit sign, kind of, except it will be off if you have it on AC mode. Anyways, I'm going to put this faceplate back on. I don't think I have too much left to say about this exit sign. So now I'm going to be going to our second unit. I'll just let you all know it's not the ELM2L. Therefore, I would name this Home Exit Signs video 5th Gen Quantum themed setup. I did have this emergency light on the setup only 2 videos ago, but I have good news about it. I have my generic Bug-Eye Trend emergency light with self-diagnostics again. I know I replaced it to the Dual-Light EZ2O, and now I replaced it back to this again. That's because I did fix an issue on it where it was having a trouble code saying there was a remote lamp failure, but the jumper was in remote, and I couldn't find it because it's so far back into the emergency light. It was hard enough for me to just change it to no remote head. So as you can tell, I have a steady green light for it now, and I'll give it a quick 30-second test. It always takes a second. By the way, the brand that rebrands this one is Emergilight. You can probably hear my parents upstairs. Just because the basement's very noisy. This is pretty bright when you look right into it, and it's like a bluish light compared to being almost yellowish or whitish. Now, we're going to go into emergency mode and see these units perform. One more thing before emergency mode, this is how the LQM looks in the dark. As you can tell, no light bleed anymore. And that's something I really like about the LQMs, the new ones. We're now in emergency mode. Here's the LQM performing. And as you can tell, it is pretty bright and there's no light bleed issues. The faceplate's not all the way on. This kind of always happens with faceplates with two smaller snaps compared to a large one. And then you can see the generic bug eye trend emergency light with self-diagnostics performing pretty well. The adjustments aren't the best on this, at least this specific one. And as you can tell, it is lighting up probably this whole room pretty well. So now I'm going to do a few more things with the LQM, but I'm pretty much about done with the emergency light. When I plug it back in, it turns yellow for a second, and for some reason when it high charges, it does it like this. Sometimes I don't know why it goes crazy, but it eventually goes right back to steady green. As you can see, now it's back to steady green. And I'm going to quickly do a few more things with the Lithonia LQM. I'll be right back. This specific exit sign usually takes an additional second to revert to AC mode. I could probably take this faceplate off like I can with my generic all-LED combo with self-diagnostics. Now, one thing is, I don't need to really unplug this battery. I could just put it in AC operation, then I could leave the sign be, because usually I don't leave these plugged in unsupervised, just because you don't know if something bad could happen. So I'm going to put it in AC mode first, and the only difference when you click the button when it's in AC mode is it doesn't turn off. The light on the button turns off when it's in battery backup operation. When it's in AC operation, it stays on. When I unplug it, it's going to turn off. Because that's how the AC only signs work. And now I'm going to put it in green lettering from this second switch. And I brought the faceplate for green lettering down here for this reason. So I'm basically going to show you it in green lettering real quick. So here it is. I'm going to test it. Then here's how it looks in the dark. Then it actually gets a little dimmer in battery backup mode. But here's how it looks. One more thing, and then I'm done with the home exit signs video for the day. I'm just going to keep it on the green option for the rest of the video, but there is just a few more things I do want to quickly show. So I'm going to quickly put it in emergency mode. I don't know why I'm doing this on camera. I'm going to unplug the battery real quick. One thing I need to always do in home exit sign videos is demonstrate simple self-diagnostics if necessary. And I'm doing that with the LQM right now. So when I push the button, it's not going to work. As it's red, kind of dim, the green's brighter. And there's just one last thing I do want to show you. So the exit sign is currently in AC operation, but like whenever I put it into battery backup, it just turns on, even if it's not wired up. So anyways, that is going to about do for this home exit signs video. I hope you all enjoyed, and stay tuned for more.